Hey, what's going on? Good morning. Tic Tac says hi as well. Maybe not. So, I made a post this morning about, waking up, coming out here, listening to some Beach Boys, nature, nice book, getting some to-dos done. And I think too many times we're a slave to the grind, a slave to our business, a slave to our boss. And bosses, a lot of times your employees are slaves to you. And you would get a hell of a lot more out of them if they weren't. And so just think about it. If this was Matt Plapp 10, 15 years ago, I would have been getting up early, hopping in my car, no prepping of my day, running to the boat dealership, diving right into the day. And, hey, what's up, Eric? Good morning. Diving right into that day and just really no focus. Wouldn't have been as happy, wouldn't have been as focused, wouldn't have got as much done. Today is a good example. I woke up around 6:30. I spent probably 15 to 20 minutes just messing around on my phone, answering a few questions, knocking out a few notifications, nothing real hardcore. I got up, got some things gathered, grabbed my daughter, took her to school, which was cool because I got to spend some time with her and bug her and play the air guitar on her. I guess it wouldn't be air guitar, but play the guitar on her arm while jamming some Joe Walsh, and also trying to embarrass her, dropping her off in front of her school, which is always interesting with me. And then came home, and literally, I don't even know what time it is right now. I'm going to guess it's probably around 8:30, I would imagine. I haven't even looked at a clock. But I usually try and spend an hour or two every morning just kind of doing me, sitting back here on the back porch in nature with the dog, with my to-do list on things I got to work on, a book, listen to some music. And I think a lot of times we don't do that enough. We don't own our day. We don't own our time. We don't set our day up properly. I think all too often business owners get stuck in the business. I always heard from a friend of mine told me that if you go to certain franchise restaurant, big national one we've all seen before, probably way too much, and you go and you look, and if there's the manager's not at a certain position and the restaurant there, because it's the way I guess they're taught, that they're short-staffed. If they're on the fry line or the burger line, they shouldn't be there because they're not controlling, they're not coaching. Imagine, the Bengals game yesterday. I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but I watched a little, and imagine if Marvin Lewis had to go on the field and had to play quarterback, and then the next series had to play defense, and then the next series was kicking the ball off. Well, he'd have even less effectiveness than he's had. But long story short, it wouldn't work. Well, I think a lot of times as business owners, we get stuck doing that. We don't ever take time out to run the business, to run ourselves, and we get stuck in the day-to-day. And when you get stuck in the day-to-day, you don't get a whole lot accomplished. You're constantly putting out fires. And so this is one thing I try and start my day off with. I sometimes get distracted. I'll have a week or two go by where I don't do it enough. And I can tell because my weeks I get so grinded and get so mentally beat up that I get put into the trenches too much. Whereas days like this where I wake up and spend an hour to two kind of decompressing and planning my week and putting some things together and getting my mind right, it helps me a lot. But also, I think too many businesses require the daily grind out of their staff. Like I think about Ashley, who's worked with me for, 7, 8 years now. She doesn't have to get up in the morning and go to an office. I mean, could we have an office that she showed up at and I showed up at, and we got our list together and we worked in separate rooms? Yeah, I guess. And that's how a lot of businesses are. Would she accomplish more or less? I would think she'd accomplish less because, number one, she's now in a car. She just lost, let's say, 45 minutes of her day getting there, 45 minutes of her day going home. So now she's in her car more. She has more gas expense. She has more car expense. She's got time away from her family. When, in fact, all she's going to be doing is the same work she'd be doing at home as she'd be doing at the office. And I think there are some validity to certain offices. You do need an environment sometimes, but there's a lot of them I think it's wasted. And that time that's wasted, but also being able to control where you work from, being able to control your environment. That, I'm a lot happier here and then in my office than I am at an office somewhere else, or I would be in a cubicle somewhere. And I think a lot of employees are that way, and you'd be amazed at what you'd get out of people, if they were able to, like I've got friends of mine that are huge grillers. If they were able to work from home and go down and grill out a steak or a burger or chicken at lunch and then keep working, one, they'd probably work a little more. Two, they'd be happier. And three, their work quality would be much better. So I think if you're an employer, think about that. And if you're an employer, if you're the employer yourself, are you waking up and diving right into it? Are you driving to the office and hopping on your computer or hopping in the kitchen or, hopping right into sales meetings? Majority of you are. And I think that's one of your big failures, is that you're not spending enough time really understanding where you're at, where you want to go, and then also focusing on you. So just kind of my morning takeaway that I think a lot of us fail on with ourselves and with our staff is, are you setting your day up right? Are you setting your week up right? Are you setting you up right? And then also, is there ways you could improve your team and your business by allowing your staff to do the same thing, whether it's not being restricted by when and where to be, or by maybe when to be there. So that's all I got. I'm out. I'll see you later.